Hello everybody, this is Justin here. So today in this episode, I'll be doing an in-depth analysis on this project, this upcoming project called Sora. Alright, so Sora will be launching this 22nd of June, and our preview will be from 22nd of June all the way to the 2nd of July. Alright, so show flag will be ready on 22nd of June, but before that, let me go into this analysis to let you have a better understanding before you even go down to the show flag to see why Sora is a development that you can consider. And on top of that, I will be going in depth to analyze each individual layout so that you'll be able to have a better understanding in terms of the facing, in terms of the layout, as well as the price point, so that you'll be able to make an informed decision. Let's move on to the project itself, Sora. Right now I'm going into the 5-bedroom layout. Alright, so same thing for my 5-bedroom type, I only got 18 units. Alright, and fronting wise, I'm also fronting the full unblocked Jurong Lake Garden. Okay, so size wise, this is 1679 square feet. Okay, 1679 square feet, massive single floor plate 5-bedroom layout. Alright, so in terms of the layout wise, pretty much similar to my 4-bedroom. I'm also having the front white frontage, private lift as well. Okay, and the main difference is, of course, it got an extra bedroom on the left side. Okay, other than that, you still have your junior master, your master bedroom, you still have your walk-in wardrobe, and for this master bath, it comes with a he and she basin as well as a bathtub. All right, so this is really one of a kind. And if you remember just now, I mentioned about the 4-bedroom supply. Right now, I'm going to show you the 5-bedroom supply in District 22. All right. So for District 22 5-bedroom supply, white frontage. So if we are looking at just 5-bedroom without private lift, in total District 22, I only got 35. Out of this 35, 16 in Lakeview, 17 in Lake Grand, and 2 in Lakefront Residence. And out of this 35, all of them doesn't come with private lift. And if we are looking at 5-bedroom with private lift, at the moment in District 22, I only have 18 units, which is Lake Gardens Residence, just beside us. Other than plus Sora, another 18 units. Total, I only have 36 units of 5-bedroom white frontage with private lift. So you can see the supply of this bedroom type, it is really exclusive. It is, like I mentioned, a collector's item. All right. So what happened when there is very little supply? Because we all know price is a byproduct of supply and demand. When there is demand, there's no supplies. There's no supply, price will go up. When there's supply and there's no demand, you'll start to see that price will start to soften. So we all know today in District 22, 5-bedroom private lift, there is really very low supply. In fact, there's only 36 units. And what will happen going forward if really there is no supply? So I take an example of this bedroom type, this 5-bedroom type in one of the heartland area called Tampines. If you are aware of Tampines, basically, of course, you do have some transformation ongoing, and there are some, commercial area, there are some offices, but most of the whole entire Tampines area is basically residential. And if today we are going to zoom down into the 5-bedroom type in Tampines, right? In fact, I only have 8 units in East Point Green. Okay, my Manhattan was only 4-bedroom, Modena is only 4-bedroom, and the most 5-bedroom unit type I have is in Treasure at Tampines. So in the past, if any buyer that wants to buy a 5-bedroom unit, they can only look at East Point Green. But today they have one more option, which is Treasure at Tampines. And back then when Treasure at Tampines 110 unit, when developer launched this unit itself back then, when they are selling the 5-bedroom, they are selling at about 2 million. So the golden question, or one of the questions that a lot of buyers have this concern, is that today I buy at Tampines 2 million. Will anybody or any buyer willing to pay me above 2 million to buy a 5-bedroom? Will there be buyers that are willing to pay me more than 2 million to buy a 5-bedroom going forward? Will I lose money? All right. So the other thing is, like I mentioned, buying a big unit like this, of course, most of them have in mind is for own stay. So at this present moment, there's only 8 units for sale for 5-bedroom type, and probably some of them may also be duplicated. So in fact, not many units on sale as well. So if today you are a buyer that have the budget of a 5-bedroom looking at Tampines, you may not be able to find a unit. Same thing going forward in District 22. If you want to get a unit, a 5-bedroom unit, you may also not be able to find any unit as and when that, when you open your portals or you want to view some units. This is not the common unit type that you are able to get or you are able to view as and when, just like a normal 3-bedroom. All right. So like I mentioned earlier, back then when this buyer bought in 2019, 2020, they bought at 2 million-ish, 1.9, highest 2.1. Of course, this buyer will also have the same concern. Will I be able to sell at a higher price going forward? Will there be buyer willing to pay me above 2 million, 2.5 million, or even close to 3 million? Will I be able to make a profit? Will I be losing money? These are all the very common questions, especially when you're buying a big quantum kind of unit itself. But like I mentioned, what will happen? What will happen when there's very little supply? Fast forward to today, 2024, 2023, 2024, as you can see, the highest profit for a 5-bedroom unit, close to $1 million, holding period 3 years, 2 months. Then one question that a lot of buyers will ask, why would the buyer be willing to pay close to 3 million in Tampines? Really, there is buyer that has budget of 3 million in Tampines? I would say, end of the day, we only have this amount of unit, this number of unit, this low supply of collectibles unit type in this area itself. Like just now I mentioned, in Tampines, I only have 100 over unit. In District 22, I only have 36 unit. I don't need a lot of buyer. This is not the normal mass market unit, 1 million, 1.5 million, 2 million kind of unit. I don't need a lot of buyer that comes to look at my unit or wants to buy my unit. I just need a handful. And that handful don't have a lot of choice. Don't have a lot of choice because most of my neighbors, whether it's Ziegler Garden or even in Sora, most of my neighbors are buying for own stay. So with own stay in mind, they are not going to sell as and when TOP, or even they are not going to sell together. So imagine when there is demand, people want to buy this collectible item, this unique layout, but there is no supply, there is no unit for them to choose. And when they finally see a unit, they go into the lift, they realize it's a private lift. They go up to your unit, they open the private lift, they see a full Jurong Lake garden. Do you think they will be sold by this unit itself? Alright, next, just now like I mentioned, we are talking about Tampines. Right now I'll bring you to another area called Marymount. Same thing, in the whole entire Singapore, not only Tampines, not only Marymount, in terms of the whole entire area, whole entire Singapore, the supply of 5-bedroom is really, really limited. Just like this particular project itself. In Marymount, of course, other than Jadescape, which is 39 units only, previously there's another project called Simming Plaza that has 5-bedroom. The rest of the surrounding project all doesn't come with 5-bedroom type. So with Jadescape and Simming, the supply of the 5-bedroom is also really, really low. Then again, question, back then in 2018, 2020, when the buyer bought a 5-bedroom at 3.4 million, 3.4 million 5-bedroom, 99-year leasehold condo, will I lose money? Will buyer be willing to pay me more? Are you sure I can sell easily going forward? So take a look, 3 years later, holding period are all about 3.5 years. Highest profit the buyer back then made, today 1.12 million. Purchase price 4.55 million. So end of the day, you need to ask yourself, who will know whether will there be buyer, will there not be buyer? Who will know whether are there rich people that is willing to buy from me? Nobody will have the answer for you. You go to any top-notch agent or any branded agent, nobody can tell you for sure, yes, there will be this buyer, no, there will not be any buyer. But most important thing, from 45 minutes to 1 hour, what I've been sharing with you. Most important thing is what? First thing first, of course, the rarity of the product itself. Second thing, are we playing to the advantage of what this development is all about? Next thing, is there any transformation? Is there any officers or any companies that is coming into this area itself? Next question is, at 4.55 million, or even 4 million, 4.554 million, can I say that with this kind of budget, will buyer, a lot of buyers may start to think, with that kind of budget, why don't I go and buy a landed? This can easily afford a brand new inter-terrace within the district itself if I really like the location. Indeed, let me show you, indeed. Alright, so this is where Jetscape is. Alright, and basically over here, as you can see, transaction May 2024, a freehold inter-terrace, land size of 2,000 over square feet, sold at only 3.4 million. Most likely this is, you need to rebuild the whole entire landed itself, plus my rebuild cost of maybe about 1.2 million. My total quantum for a freehold inter-terrace, I can build up to probably 3,000-4,000 square feet, maybe a 5, 6, 7 bedroom. My total quantum is only 4.6 million. Same thing, of course, somewhere nearby, a 98 Pemimpin Terrace, freehold, 1,007 square feet land size, built up probably around 3,000 square feet, sold 4.338 million. So really, buyers have a choice and they can choose whether to buy a landed, at that kind of quantum, to buy a landed or to buy a condo. But end of the day, can I say that there will still be buyer that will not want to buy landed? There will still be buyer that feels that landed, I need to maintain this, I need to, do a lot of maintenance, and I don't want to climb the stairs, I don't want this, I just don't like landed. And I'm willing to pay you for something that is rare. I'm willing to pay you for something that is what I really like, even though I'm buying at the price of close to landed. This has already proven that even at the kind of quantum, at the kind of price point, I can buy a landed, but the buyer still continue to choose to buy a condo, even a 99-year leasehold condo. So nobody will be able to tell you, today I'm buying at 3 point. For example, I'm talking about Sora, maybe a price quantum of maybe 3.5 million thereabout. Nobody can tell you for sure you'll make how much. But what we can assure you is that first thing first, of course, in terms of the layout, in terms of the rarity, in terms of the exclusivity, there is really, really, really low supply. Second thing, there is a lot of exciting news and exciting transformation coming up in District 22. Last of all, we are playing to the advantage of what this developer is trying to bring out, the full unblocked permanent Jurong Lake Garden View. What is your worst case scenario? This is something that you are okay to stay, you love the view, you love the layout, you just need to wait for the price to go up. Last of all, before I end off, I just want to show you, end of the day, 5-bedroom white frontage with private lift. People are willing to pay, really. You are making a good, decent profit. Even I'm talking about Heartland area, this is Bedok. Surrounded by all the old HDB, there are still people that is willing to pay and stay in this kind of area. Next, of course, Hougang, same thing, old estate. People are willing to pay as long as your unit is a collector's item. That means white frontage, private lift, which is something not common in, like I mentioned, Heartland area. If you go into CCR, if you go into, the core central region, private lift is a norm. It's not called a collector's item. It's normal. Whereas when you come to Heartland area, it is not easy to find something that is private lift with white frontage. Alright, so this is basically what I have for you today. Of course, if you think that you have some other things that you want to actually, you want me to compare, or you want me to actually do the analysis for you, just feel free to drop me a text in my YouTube. Then moving forward, I will do more of such analysis for different projects, so that end of the day, I hope that this can be something useful to you. Alright, my name is Justin, and I see you next time. Bye-bye.